Hey, it's Heather from Heather's Michigan Garden, and I have been getting several questions about my Limelight hydrangeas and my quick Fire Fab and some of the other hydrangeas that I have, and questions about how tall they are, which ones bloom sooner, which ones I like better. So I'm going to go ahead and start here. This is the standard Limelight hydrangea. Now when I planted these, they were a larger pot. So they were bigger when I put them in the ground. As you can tell, I'm 5 feet tall. And I would say these are probably 6.5 feet tall and wide. So as far as the color, you can see they start out a white color and they start to turn pink, and as the season goes on and the nights get cooler, they get a darker and darker pink, and they are very, very popular here in Michigan. They are the proven winners brand. They get 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, and my hope is that this is going to fill in and create a nice, beautiful hedge around my wedding garden. Now, initially I planted the Limelight hydrangea, but then I stumbled across the quick Fire Fab, and I decided to go ahead and continue my wedding garden with the quick Fire Fab. They bloom earlier. They get the same size, so the 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, but they do start blooming a little sooner. And as you can see here, I like it that we have kind of an ombre effect with the light going to a deeper color of hydrangea, because they do start blooming earlier. They start as a white and they progress into this darker, what color would you call this? Like a burgundy? I'd say like a burgundy color, but it's gradual. So they'll start out white and then a light pink, and they just gradually get darker and darker, and it's a really beautiful color. And I like how thick they get. Now right now I planted these, they were very small. They were the 4-inch pot, so that's why they are so much smaller than the Limelight, but they will catch up and reach that same max height of the 6 to 8 feet. So right now, I'll just kind of give you an idea of the height on these. This is 4 feet right here. So this one is just below 4 feet. And it's just like anything else, you know, living. Nothing grows at the exact same rate. So you're gonna have a little bit of variation of height. So, and then this one right here, if I use the tallest panicle, that one is, well, I'm 5 feet tall, so it's just about 5 feet tall right here. And then, you know, same with this one. This one is 4 feet 6 inches. So just a beautiful, look how the density of this panicle. I mean, it's just so thick, and they're sturdy. Like the stems are nice and sturdy and strong, and we've had a lot of rain, and it's a young plant. So you might see here that I do have some flopping, but like these panicles are very, very heavy, and I think as the plant matures and gets stronger, I think that the stems are gonna get thicker and be able to support these big, heavy panicles. But I really wouldn't call it that much of a flop, in my opinion. And then I also find that when they do that, you'll get shoots coming up this way and they kind of start filling in, which I think is really interesting to watch. So yeah, these are younger plants. Yes, there is a little bit of flap here, but you see how strong that is. These are standing up really nicely. And then if you look on the other side of the wedding garden, you see a little bit of variation in height on that side also. The three down here on this end, yeah, they're a little bit shorter. We'll go measure them and just see what the height is on those. So if I'm measuring to the tallest panicle, it's about 3 feet 6 inches. The shortest one about 3 feet. Again, I believe that they're all just going to kind of catch up eventually and all reach the exact same mature height. So there is going to be a little bit of variation in the growing initially. Even right here with this Limelight, it's the exact same size that was planted as the other ones, but you'll see it's just a little bit shorter and it's going to catch up, so it's nothing to worry about. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video right here, and then we're going to go ahead and walk over to the side yard because I've had some questions about my quick Fire Fab on that side, and we'll just go ahead and measure those so you can see the size on those. Thanks. Hey, before we go to the front yard, I decided to go ahead and make a stop here because I didn't point these out. This is the quick fire hydrangea, related to the quick Fire Fab, but the panicles are different. These are much more wispy, but this I would say is the earliest blooming. So if you want the earliest blooming hydrangea, it's going to be this quick fire right here. This also gets 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, and it takes on that white in the beginning when it first starts blooming, and then turns this beautiful burgundy or dusty rose color. So it's lighter on that side and darker on the out. So it still goes along with when the nights get cooler, the petals start turning that darker color. And this is the little quick fire, which there's nothing little about it in my opinion. It's supposed to get the 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, but look at that. That's almost 5 feet tall right there. So and then right here is another vanilla strawberry. You'll see, oops, I just broke it. So anyway, it's the vanilla strawberry, beautiful panicle blooms. You'll see the part that gets on the top, that gets more of the sun and the cold that like falls on it, tends to take on the darker color, and then you flip it over and you'll see it's whiter on the other side. But an absolutely beautiful panicle. I do like the vanilla strawberry hydrangeas, but these are not a Proven Winners brand. This is I believe the special edition, and I usually pick these up at Lowe's. I do have about 6 or 7 of these planted in my yard. I'll just set this here for now, and then now I'll go to that front yard and show you those other hydrangeas. Alright, hey, I'm back, and this is where I have my quick Fire Fab planted on a slope, and I've had some questions about the height of these also. So I'm going to go ahead and put a tape measure up to them. And you can see I'm 5 feet tall, so I'll stand next to this one. I'm 5 feet tall, and if I get kind of even with the slope, you can see how tall this quick Fire Fab is. And they, again, get the 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. And this is already about 5 feet wide down here. So this should all fill in and touch. I think I might have had some other questions about the spacing on how far I planted these apart. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. So if I go right to the center of this one to this one, I planted them from center to center 6 feet apart. And I want them to fill in and all touch, so I'm trying to create a nice hedge here. We walk around this way. This is another quick Fire Fab. And then right here, this is a Limelight Prime. And you can kind of see the difference in these. The growth habit, the size of the blooms on this one. But the color is very similar. So it just depends on what your preference is, on what you like. I prefer the growth habit of the quick Fire Fab. I just think it's much more dense, and for a hedge, it's just denser, so it creates a lot more privacy if that's what you're looking for. This is much more wispy in my opinion, and you can see through it. So as far as like, it's definitely a showpiece, but as far as a privacy screen, I wouldn't say as of right now this would create a good privacy fence. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go to the front yard, and that is where I have many of my other hydrangeas, and we'll just walk through and take a look at them. It's very interesting. They all have taken on a very similar color, some a deeper burgundy than others, but all exquisite in color for the fall, going into the fall. So we'll cut here, and then we'll walk over to that area and take a look at those. Hey everyone, so I'm in the front yard, and this area gets a lot more like direct sun, and the soil on this part of my yard is a little bit drier and a little bit harsher for my hydrangeas. This is another vanilla strawberry, but you can see that we do get a lot more sun, and you'll see that I do get some burnt leaf or flower petals on these hydrangeas that are in the front yard. Please excuse the noise in the background. My neighbor is working on something, so hopefully you can hear me okay. But we're gonna go ahead and walk this way. And again, keep in mind, I'm 5 feet tall, so you can get a pretty good indication of the height of these hydrangeas. Again, I have two quick fires in here also that are doing really well. You can see the height on these. Now these did struggle a little bit in the beginning because it is so much drier on this side of my yard, but they still are doing really well. I have not really had to water these this year because we've had so much rain this year. Right here is another quick Fire Fab. This was a 4-inch pot when I planted it, and it is doing really well. You'll see right behind me, those are the white Incrediballs. So we have those right there. We'll walk this way. And again, you're gonna see the differences in the quick Fire Fab and the Limelight Prime. Right here is the Limelight Prime. You can see it's much more airy. Right now, it might change as it matures. This one had quite a bit of flapping, but again, with that flapping, I had a lot of growth come up from down here and interestingly fill this in. So I have not really pruned these because they were so small. When I planted them, I wanted to give them a chance to see what they do and grow. This is another Limelight Prime right here. Again, Jose, go ahead and show them how it's kind of flopped out, but then it'll shoot stems up from the center and it will fill all that in. I suppose I could probably try pruning that back, but I just want to see what it's going to do on its own for now. And again, this is the quick Fire Fab. Now you can definitely see the difference in the growth of this. It's much fuller, and I'll just stand behind here. So as far as, this is a really good example of privacy. You can't really see me, I'm betting, through the camera, me standing behind this quick Fire Fab. So if you're trying to get a privacy fence, a thick hedge, this will be a great way to go. And now I'm going to step over here behind the Limelight Prime. And if Jose, go ahead and walk over this side. The way it's growing, you can see that you can definitely see me through this hydrangea. So for me personally, and we'll go over here where it's a little bit thicker and it's a little bit better here, but then over here. So you'll just have to kind of see how it continues as it matures and grows. So we'll just head right back down here. Again, if you base it off the tallest panicle on this quick Fire Fab, it's almost 5 feet tall. Shorter ones, right around 4 feet. And this is planted on a slope, so it slopes down this way on this hill. This is another quick Fire Fab right here. Beautiful color on there. And then here is another quick Fire Fab. And these are all growing pretty much at the exact same rate. They're the exact same size when I planted them. And look at that beautiful color. Just gorgeous. This right here is a Firelight. This one is very beautiful also, taking on that same color that is just beautiful. Starts out white and turns this beautiful color. This gets also 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. And then we'll come up here. Yeah, circle around and face the other way. Right here, this one is a little bit, I think, more difficult to locate in your nurseries, but this is the Zinfen Doll hydrangea. And I'm gonna have to check because I don't remember for sure the height on this. Oh, I'm losing it. So this is the Zinfen Doll. This is how it is spelled. And what is the height on that? I can't see it.
4.5 to 6 feet tall and wide.
So 4.5 feet tall and wide.
To 6 feet.
4.5 to 6 feet tall and wide. So you can see, again, I'm 5 feet. It's about 4 feet. It's probably spread about that 5.5, 6 feet already. So now it's just gonna spend that time filling in and growing a little bit well. But when I got this Zinfen Doll, it was the only one they had in the nursery, and it looked terrible. But I really wanted to plant one, so I scooped it up, planted it, and it made a recovery and is doing really well. So I think it's a really beautiful hydrangea. And then right here is another Pinky Winky. This one is a newly planted one. Same time as the other ones that I've planted. And many of you know my very big Pinky Winky that I have in the front of my house. It is like 8 feet tall and 8 feet wide, 8 or 10. It's very large. So this will fill in and get pretty big. I can prune it to try to maintain a smaller structure on this. But this is, you know, right around the 4 feet size right now. And you can see the pretty colors on this. Boy, I'm struggling with this tape measure. So that's my hydrangeas in this front yard. I will go ahead and show you my Bobos right now, and then I do have a Firelight Tidbit that I want to show you really quick, and I will at the final I will show you my very large Pinky Winky in the front yard. But these are my 2 Bobos taking on that beautiful soft pink. These get to the 3 to 5 feet range. They fill in nice and densely, bloom prolifically, absolutely gorgeous hydrangeas. I liked that I put them right between this fence right here. Just looks really cute in here. So I got that. If you want to cut that, I'm going to jump over to this Firelight Tidbit that I have that is blooming beautifully right now, but is still quite small. So this is that Firelight Tidbit I was just mentioning. It is very small, but look at the size of the blooms on here. And it's just really pretty. Starts out with that white and then turns the pink. But this one is the best one in my yard right now as far as how it's been blooming and filling in. I don't really know what the difference is. I'm guessing it's something to do with the soil. Haven't done anything differently other than maybe when I fertilize my petunias, it gets a little bit of that fertilizer that may have made the difference for those. Right here is that blue chiffon rose of Sharon right behind it. So yeah, and then I am going to show you that big Pinky Winky that I have in the front of the house.
One.
Alright, so this is the front of my house and the Queen Majesty itself, Pinky Winky, that is about 10 feet tall and 10 feet wide at least. It's blooming beautifully. I have cut this thing back several times and it just sprouts right back up. Last year I cut it back down below the windows on the front of our house and it still took off and is almost above the window again this year. So this thing is amazing. I don't fertilize it or anything. Just absolutely beautiful. I'll have bees and pollinators all over this Pinky Winky. I highly recommend it. It is a showstopper. So that is the update on my Pinky Winky in the backyard. I hope you really enjoy these videos as much as I enjoy making them. And if you do, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. Again, thanks for watching Heather's Michigan Garden.